It's fair to say that on Wednesday night, the eyes of the sporting world were firmly focused on what was a decisive day in the UEFA Champions League, as almost every club had something to play for. Each match a domino in the larger picture where one decisive goal or one game-changing save could reshape the final leg.
Whatever, mate. Shut.
It was truly an exhilarating experience, and let's take
it's
a quick
too early
look
to be
at
listening
how
to
it
people
all
like you
played
fucking
out.
shit. Oh.
There is quite a night ahead of us across the continent.
Yeah, I never like that guy. Yeah, I don't know what it is about him, man.
Oh, Christ. I woke up about 17 seconds ago.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Just want to say to the chat and everyone, welcome to the show. We're going to be watching the draw for the Champions League. See what happened with Liverpool, what journey they have to go through and what other people have to do as well. Villa, City, Arsenal all got through as well, so all the English teams got through. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we get Monaco. That's my team who I like to get. You can write in the chat who you guys want as well. Most of the big teams are through on the last day, like Bayern, Real, Man City all got through, you know. But I think there's maybe an inkling that they could be actually facing each other. So it's going to be an interesting draw.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. I'm just gonna leave it all muted until
Yeah. Just leave it.
Starts
I'll leave it in
talking.
the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Villa beat Celtic. Man City's straight through what they normally do. Martinez got a hat-trick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I seen that, I said, I bet Brian would like him at Liverpool next season, man.
Oh man, yes. I think he'd stay there for his whole career nearly. Well, the main part, you know.
Mm-hmm. Bless up KJ, Helio, Jimmy Duggan,
Jimmy.
Philly in Liverpool FC. Big up, bro.
Yeah, morning, Jimmy. KJ. Link is in the thing, KJ, if you want it. Link is in the group chat.
Okay, so the finals in Munich this year.
Yep.
Down the road. Hopefully Liverpool will be there.
Do you want to put the sound on that?
Which of course is taking place at the Munich Stadium on May the 31st. Before we proceed, let's take a look at the 16 clubs in today's playoff round draw.
Atalanta. Bergamo Calcio.
Dortmund.
They're having an
They
awful
sacked their
season.
manager last week, I think. Sahin.
Yeah,
They're
having a bad year.
Yeah, they're not doing great in the league.
No.
But in Champions League, they're doing okay. You know, the guy they bought from Stuttgart, Garay, he's scoring goals.
It's Pulisic.
Yeah, scored. He's got the same birthday as me.
Really, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Pulisic, yeah. I always thought he would be a Liverpool player. He just looked like a Liverpool player, like a guy who would play with Klopp. So I was a bit gutted he ended up at Chelsea.
Yeah, I know it won't get copyrighted. Yeah. I'm not sure if you're asking or telling Philly, but yeah. You can show it, but it's just I'm worried about music. I'm not really sure. I said it's too early, so I'm not taking any chances. That was a nice goal. Whatever that was. Who was that? Feyenoord kid. Vlahovic, he could be on the move. He could be on the move. Looks like they want to sell him before he gets the last year of his contract. These useless bastards.
Yeah, he ain't my sort of striker for me.
What about that lad? Yorkes. Or Yorkes or whatever.
To invite on stage the man who will, of course, preside over today's draw, and that is UEFA Deputy General Secretary Giorgio Marchetti. Welcome, Giorgio.
Thank you, Pedro. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
What a fun room that is.
This season, we set sail on a new era of the UEFA Champions League with the introduction of a new format featuring a league phase, as you know. Unpredictable and dynamic as expected, the league phase has delivered more high stakes and unique clashes, improved competitiveness, leading up to the breathtaking last match day drama that we've just seen. For 8 intense match weeks, the league phase rankings constantly shifted as clubs climbed and fell. Unexpected results stole the spotlight, with newcomers securing safe passage while former champions teetered on the edge of elimination. Now, we know that it is absolutely true that every goal and every save really have the power to decide qualification or elimination. Clubs did not miss the essence of this new format, where winning every match is the only way to guarantee an outcome. The number of draws dropped to a bare 12.7%, down 7 points from the previous cycle, and 34 of the 36 teams recorded at least one victory in league phase. Just 5 points separated positions 8 and 25, which means round of 16 or elimination. Well done to Liverpool, the first club to claim the top spot in the table. They now advance to the round of 16, joined by the next 7 highest ranked teams. For those ranked 9 to 24, the journey continues with the high stakes knockout phase playoffs, where everything is on the line. Congratulations to all your teams indeed for keeping the dreams of their fans well alive. And today's draw will not only determine those crucial matchups, but also unveil the first glimpse of the path to this year's final in Munich. We'll set the seeded bracket in motion today, and we will complete it next month with the top 8 teams to reveal the road to glory for everybody. As we are getting started, let's now welcome today's special guest, a player who knows a lot about the winners of the league phase and the club who will host us at the final.
Well, there you go. The man himself.
What a goal that was. 9 grumpy.
He's even scored a header.
Won 2 tournaments.
All right, and here he is. Please welcome on stage Tiago Alcântara.
Go on. Long time no see.
Welcome. Bem-vindo. Bienvenido, não é? Temos 3 línguas. Let's go with English.
Willkommen.
As well. Speak German as well. I can't do that one, I'm sorry.
I know.
Let's do English then. We saw a little bit of your CV, 80 Champions League appearances, 2 titles. You know so much about this amazing tournament. What makes it special for a player, and how much do you miss it? Because you've just retired last summer, so it's fresh.
It's hard. First of all, it's congrats to all to be here in this stage. You did great this part of the season, so looking forward to see you in the next stage. And second, and it's a transition. I think it's great to see now as a reference, like players like Simão. I just see Simão now. Adurit, representative of Samamés, later as I've seen before. to know about this transition is important. To be humble enough to get aside the player and get to know what is next is really excited, to be fair. But as a player, for sure, you have this competitive thing. When you see Champions League last games, that you can see a lot of matches. So
yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you about, because Wednesday, I mean, I talked about it, Giorgio talked about it. It was special, right? It was historic. 18 matches all at the same time, teams going up, teams going down, every second really mattering. How did you live that night?
Computer, TV, iPad, everybody together to try to watch all games I can. For sure, I follow more the teams I've played with, but then I feel attracted with some teams as well to see how they play, how they behave on the pitch. It was nice. It was very special.
I have to ask you, Thiago, who has impressed you so far? Okay, the pressure's on teams, players who have kind of impressed you so far.
Yeah, it's very easy to talk about the teams that we know since we're kids, the big teams that won most of the trophies of Champions League. But then in those days, you want a competition. You want to be dominant as well. And I got impressed with, for example, Atalanta with the 1v1 situation, the whole pitch, and then you see Monaco that they created more men in the middle. So it was really nice to watch these two teams, but for sure, the teams that got in the next phase, like Leverkusen, Lille, or even Aston Villa, it's really impressed.
You're talking a little bit tactics like a coach. Is that the next step?
I'll take it for 6
We never
months.
know at the end. As a football player, we sticked from times for more than 30 years, and now it's just this freedom to let you know more about football.
Look, enjoy the experience here. It's amazing to have you. I'll leave you in Giorgio's capable hands in just a minute. Before we do so, let's take a quick look at the technical procedure, and we have a short video explaining the key draw principles.
That was the guy I was on about last night, the guy who's presenting on the left, the little dude.
Yeah.
He was the guy I was trying to say.
Yeah.
He makes me laugh, man. Yeah, he's the guy who does the presentation.
Andy Warhol's long lost cousin. They'll definitely snag us on the Champions thing.
Well, Thiago's involved.
Yeah.
Everybody can sort out. Like,
Oh,
I'm still going to go with Monaco.
You want me to turn it back on, Brian? I just muted. I mute the screen.
Yeah, the music is still on.
Oh, is it still on?
Yeah.
Yeah, KJ, fake Ranieri, man. He looks like him as well, bro.
I think it was on for you. I muted it on here.
But I'm muting it on the actual.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, do it that way. Unmute it like that, like you just did, and then I'll unmute the because I have your screen muted. That's why.
Names of the seed.
Oh, you hear that?
It's a mad setup. You know how they sort of.
It is a mad setup. It is.
I don't really like it.
Yeah. It is kind of wild.
We should just go with what you said, bro. The first team gets the first choice you want to play. Simple.
Yeah, make it like it's almost like pickups. You know, like going to the 5-a-side soccer or football when you go to the pitch and you got to pick your team.
And
then you get to stay on. Pick your next opponent.
Overcomplicating the whole situation of the draw, man.
I know. It's because every team gets it's going. You're gonna have to say a pause behind it, but every team gets one ball and then another ball. Okay, I don't want to say the other way. And they get in each team, and then it's stupid. It's silly. They should just flip a coin rather than put a ball in. They should do something cool, like have a commemorative coin that has each team on it, and they flip it up in the air and something like that. Whoever it lands on, that's who gets.
That's who you get.
Yeah, that's who you get. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool. And then you could keep the commemorative coin. Hand it to whoever, hand it to the person that's sitting in that crowd that looks super psyched to be there.
Okay, we're back.
The pairs of seeded and unseeded teams according to their league phase rankings. The draw starts with the unseeded teams in descending order from pair 23-24 to pair 17-18. The first team drawn every time from each pair will be assigned to the silver side of the bracket and the second to the blue side. So first goes left, second goes right. Once all the pairs of the unseeded teams have been assigned to a position on the bracket, then the draw continues with the seeded teams here, starting with the 15-16.
Sounds
and
like you're saying
finishing with
city
9-10
teams.
to complete all pairings. Then the calendar of all knockout phase playoffs matches will be available later today in the afternoon. So before we start, let's take a last look at the pairings, starting with the seeded teams. In positions 9-10, we have Atalanta and Borussia Dortmund. Position 11 and 12 is Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. In position 13 and 14, it's AC Milan and PSV Eindhoven. Position 15.
Are they going to choose these
16,
balls
Paris
first?
Saint-Germain and
Or choose these
Benfica.
pairings first?
And then the unseeded teams, we have 17-18 Monaco and Stade Brestois. 19-20 is Feyenoord Juventus. 21-22 Manchester City. Celtic and Manchester City. And position 23-24 is Sporting Clube and Club Brugge. That's all. We're ready. Thiago, I must ask you to move to this part of the stage because that's exactly where we start the draw with the positions, unseeded positions 23 and 24. Please, you will draw one ball at a time. And this is the first team drawn. Once again, going to the silver
Yago
side.
looks sharp, though. I like the suit.
Club Brugge.
So that's
Club
Brugge, finalists of 1978, the only Belgian club actually to have reached the final of this competition. So Brugge is now placed on the left side of the bracket. So we need to draw the other team in the pairing. And with Brugge,
I get what people say about Thiago, but
Sporting Clube.
Sporting Clube, of course, and Sporting is taking position on the blue side, the quarterfinals in 1983. Who had, for the first time in their history, a player scoring a hat-trick.
White side or something?
Victor Gyökeres. He scored a hat-trick against Manchester City in this league phase. Now, with after position 23-24, we are ready to progress, and the next two teams are 21 and 22, either Celtic or Manchester City.
Manchester City.
And we go with Manchester City silver. Manchester City, everybody knows, winners.
Who do you want, Real Madrid, or you want them to get Bayern?
And the Champions League record for the most successful matches, unbeaten, 26 before conceding to Sporting in this league phase. So who was with Manchester City? Because this club has to go now to the other part of the bracket, the blue side.
Celtic.
That's Celtic.
Yeah, we knew it was Celtic.
Celtic.
I know.
I know. 67,
not...
Scottish club. To make this triumph. So Man City silver and Celtic is blue. And we go ahead like this. We shuffle.
Now we find out.
And the next pairing is positions 19-20.
We all know Thiago has got crazy peripheral vision, so let's see.
Juventus.
And this is Juventus is also going to the silver side. Twice winners with a coach who has won twice as a player the competition with Barcelona, with Inter. And who is going now to the
obviously PSV
blue side in this pairing?
Feyenoord.
That's, of course,
whoever invented this format of the draw.
Win the trophy.
Yeah, I know.
He needs to be looked at for war crimes or something.
Teams are left.
You organize this, man.
The first half of all ties. Position 17-18.
Oh, there's 30 people watching.
Stade Brestois going.
Yeah, make sure you hit the like, folks. Make sure you hit the like.
Of the bracket. Brest
Drop in
is
and say hello,
participating for the first time in
and put in the
UEFA
chat who you want to
competition,
get
and,
us, who you want us to draw.
congratulations, their success.
Put all your
is indeed
predictions and
great.
favorites into the chat.
So after Brest, obviously we need to draw
Yeah,
another
welcome to the
team,
show, everyone.
which
Press the
presumably
like.
comes from the
That'd
same
be cool.
country, from the same league.
Monaco.
And that's AS Monaco, of course. AS Monaco, the finalists of 2004. AS Monaco going to the blue side. With this, we've done half of the job. Thiago, now please move to my
definitely.
left, and we're
Sorry.
ready to.
You can speak. I think you can speak more than 3
complete,
languages,
the ties,
actually.
one after the other.
Yeah.
We start with
German, Spanish,
positions
Portuguese,
15
English. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
16.
You can
which
speak
is
the
Paris
language of
Saint-Germain or
football,
Benfica,
JK.
who
The
will
language
There
of
you go.
football.
join
There you
That's
go.
the best
two
language he's
French
got.
teams.
Paris Saint-Germain.
So first tie is an all-French tie between Brest and Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain
Okay.
participating for the 13th
Monaco, come on.
successive season in UEFA Champions League knockout phase. And now let's complete the other one. So to play against Monaco,
Benfica.
So Benfica, winners back-to-back in 61-62.
I wanted to see Benfica play
will play
PSG.
against AS Monaco. And the winners of these two ties, Brest, Paris Saint-Germain or Monaco, Benfica, will face in the next round either Liverpool or Barcelona.
Because that would have been a tough matchup for
in February.
PSG.
Let's go ahead, and we are now with the other two positions, 13 and 14, Milan or PSV.
PSV.
So PSV Eindhoven is drawn to go against Juventus on the silver side. PSV winners of 1988, of course. And after PSV, we
The
can
guy in the back
draw
seat
the other
that
team.
looks like he's confused too. He's like, "What is going on?"
It's like, someone explain to me what's happening right now.
Milan,
like,
so
"Can someone
Milan
tell me
playing
what's
against
happening?"
Feyenoord, that will create a double
Yeah, I don't even know.
crossroads between Italy and the Netherlands. So Juventus versus PSV, Feyenoord versus Milan, and the winners will
That's
take on
Baresi, in case
either
anybody's
Arsenal
wondering.
or Inter in the next round.
Yeah, that's very easy.
So
Yeah.
we're ready. We can proceed with shuffling now the balls containing positions 11 and 12. And 11 and 12 means Real Madrid or Bayern.
Real Madrid.
So Real Madrid is drawn to go to the silver side, which will give rise to a great
basically,
challenge
we wanna
in the
stay
first round,
on-
Manchester
Nice.
City versus Real Madrid.
We
Real
want to stay
Madrid
on the blue
will
side,
try
not the
to
silver
achieve
side.
their 500 matches in the season, but to do this, they will need to go past Manchester City, so to play another round. This is indeed
Unless,
great,
unless
but we
you
need
guys are
also
out there
to see
that
the
want to,
name
I
That's what we
don't know
wanted.
if you guys out there
with
want
Real
us to
Madrid
see
joining
Real
the blue
Madrid
side,
early.
which is
Bayern München.
Bayern Munich going
He
against
doesn't look
Celtic
happy.
FC,
He's just like,
six-time winners
He's like,
of the
"Sir."
competition. Bayern, as
He
everybody
already
knows,
knew
and
that he's
the
playing
17th
Bayern Munich, though.
successive season in
Because the other
knockout.
side already picked.
Thiago, only
oh yeah. Once the
two
first one gets picked, you know what the second
teams have to be
is. You know
drawn
what
now
do
to
it.
complete
Show that it's
this
legit.
roster,
We have to slip
pairing
good as well.
9 and 10, Atalanta or Borussia Dortmund.
Atalanta.
So Atalanta will play against Bruges. So same colors on the field. Obviously, one team will have to change their shirts when playing away to avoid any confusion. Atalanta is a great, outsider of the last few seasons. The title holder of the UEFA Europa League playing
It does
against
not matter
Bruges.
to me
Would you
if it's
please
a
show us the last
difficult run to
ball?
the finals
name,
or an easy run to the finals.
Borussia Dortmund.
Which is indeed
Once we get to the
Borussia
final.
Dortmund, finalist at Wembley in 2024, taking on Sporting Clube de Portugal in this knockout playoff round.
Probably the draw
With
on
this,
Monday
we've
might be,
completed
I don't
all
know.
the matches, the
Maybe
8
that's for
matches, and
Conference
I
League
give it
or
back to Pedro.
Europa.
Yeah, well done, gentlemen. You have completed the draw. Let's take a look at the results. So we'll have an all-French tie between Brest and Paris Saint-Germain. It'll be Club Rouge versus Atalanta. The blockbuster tie here is Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Then Juventus will be taking on PSV. We've got Monaco versus Benfica, Sporting facing Borussia Dortmund, Celtic taking on Bayern Munich, and Feyenoord.
I
will
think
be
we want to
playing
be on the
AC
blue
Milan. Now,
side.
as Giorgio mentioned, this means that we now have our first look at the UEFA Champions League bracket. So the 24 clubs can see their path to this year's final. Before we sign off, it's time to mark your calendars. The date of the first leg matches is the 11th and 12th of February, and the return is scheduled on the 18th of 19th as well of February. That'll do it from all of us here at the House of European Football in Nyon. From Thiago, Giorgio, myself, it's goodbye. Take care. We'll see you again very soon.
Wow, what a party that was.
That was excitement.
Can you imagine the wine and cheese afterwards?
Probably
Wait,
in the Europa League.
So
anyway.
basically Monday then, like Philly Liverpool FC was saying, Monday must be where we get our bracket filled.
Why didn't they just do it all in one? I don't
I
understand.
don't understand why they didn't do it all in one. Yeah, like why didn't they just? I mean, what's the big deal?
They've got enough cheese and caviar for Monday as well, don't we, bro? Oh, they've really messed it up. You know, like I'm telling you, the football is in the wrong hands. That was just madness right there. No one had a clue what was happening, really. You know, one good thing that came out of it, Man City beat Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's true.
Great setup, yeah. True, Jimmy.
I don't get though why. I don't get why they didn't do the other side though. To be honest with you,
Intrigue. They want to add a bit of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, because they know everyone will have watched that draw and seen that amazing star-studded crowd and just wanted to see more of it. That room just looked so fun. The energy in that room was amazing. Wow, yeah, what a bunch of
They probably all just woke up.
It was intense.
yeah,
Star-studded.
Yeah, they probably just all woke up from last night. You know what I mean? All the players meeting, drinking wine or whatever it is.
It was just.
Well, look, we know that we know City got Madrid. That's what a lot of people were. Well, I don't know. I mean, there was a chance, but at least that's
one dog.
One of them out the road.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that's something that's cool. That's cool. I'll deal with that. I can deal with
They're
that.
all good. Like you said, look, the draw, we'll take it. You know, we could get an easy inverted commas club. You know, or you can get a tough club and you can go through against either. So if you beat them, you beat them. You know, we'll get whoever we get. Be fairly confident. We've already beaten Madrid and Man City this season. So there's nobody in
we
that.
did that in a week, Brian. We did that in a week.
In a week. So there's nobody in that. I know everybody will have changed a bit, you know. But maybe some new players. But there isn't really any team out there like, oh no, not those guys, you know, that kind of thing. Just take it as it comes and play what we get.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one out there scares me. I don't know anyone else. At the moment, there's no one out there scaring me.
I would agree with that. Big up to Thiago. It's good to see him.
Yeah, he'll be back in management, I reckon. Won't be long before he's
exactly what I was thinking. With the language,
I think.
language
Did he go to Barcelona, JK? Did he go?
Did he do it?
Yeah, I thought he did.
Then he ended up coming back.
Yeah, and then he came back to Liverpool. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, cool.
He's probably enjoying his retirement a little bit, a year or two, traveling, whatever, then get back into football. He's just got manager written all over him. He has.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a nice.
So what's the chat think? By the way, what does the chat think about this?
They're all confused.
We don't know who our opponent is yet. I know that's the only because that's weird. Like we don't know who our opponent really is. I thought it was going to be us. I thought they're going to break it down and then get our opponent at least at least tell us where we fall into it.
Maktar knows. He says he's gonna explain what go on.
Oh, he's on Hansi Flick's coaching staff. So he's gone back to Barcelona again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion in the chat, and those that understand it don't seem to like it. That's all I can see. I haven't seen
That's
anybody
unfortunate.
they like it or anybody saying that they enjoyed it. I think everyone's just saying, what the hell is going on?
Abdul is funny, man.
Yeah,
He's got. I hope he didn't get injured as a manager.
I know why they did that. Maybe Thiago's not going to be there for the Monday draw. Then, as I see Philly Liverpool FC saying it's on Monday so they can fix it. But I mean, that way we all know Thiago's got eyes in the back of his head, so they probably figured that if he's there, he's going to be able to pick out the draw and make sure that we get on the blue side and not on the gray side or the silver side or whatever they're calling it. So let me show you
The
this.
silver side and the blue side for some reason.
Yeah. So this is what it's looking like. The blue side's got Monaco, Benfica, Sporting, Dortmund, Celtic, Bayern Munich, Feyenoord, and AC Milan. I would prefer to be on this side right from the very gate. I know some might have a different of opinion, but I wouldn't fear Monaco and Benfica. It would mean we'd have a Dortmund Sporting matchup or Villa Lille matchup in the second round. And then the best we could probably do, we might see maybe Arsenal. We might see Inter would be a tough matchup. But I'd like to get some revenge on them. Atletico Madrid be definitely some black, some dark, what do you call it? Like dark skills or whatever you call it. It's late. It's late for me. I'm sorry, people. Early in the morning, but it's very late. I've been up since yesterday. Dark Arts. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry. Dark Arts with the Atletico Madrid. Leverkusen, we've already beaten them, but they will certainly look to post a little revenge if of course Bayern Munich or Celtic don't get past either of those teams. And then it's the silver side. The silver side's a tough side. Yeah, PSG. I mean, Brest has been very surprising this Champions League. I mean, they were a pretty high seed at one point, and then they had a loss or two that knocked them down to where they're at. But PSG, Atalanta, who's obviously the Europa champions, Manchester City, Real Madrid, PSV, who we just faced off against, have a decent team. Not a team I don't think we wouldn't be able to beat, but Juventus. I think the silver side's tougher than the blue side. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, so happy it's not PSV against Feyenoord. Okay. That was unique too, because they did. I mean, it could have been easily that. It very could have easily been that. Very much could have been that. Is Feyenoord and PSV, are they rivals? I know PSV and Ajax are, but are PSV and Feyenoord also rivals?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Kind of. Probably don't like each other. They're not gonna have a cup of tea.
I know, yeah. I figured. I mean, yeah. I'm sure they don't like each other. They wouldn't be high-fiving before the match, but I mean, the draw for MK Toe and Makhtar are saying that the draw for the round of 16 will be held on February 21st. So you mean that we're gonna watch these games and not have? And that's just I don't understand why they would do that.
It's weird.
Because
I
there's
think after
you know where these teams are going now. You know where the knockoff player winner is going. Is going into where you know where they're going into the bracket. Why not just tell us that we have like that way you'd have a more what do they want to like make it where you have to watch every team so you know because you don't know who you're going to be playing? Is that what it is?
like for me, what they should just do, like they should just kept it simple. Let the playoffs happen. Do that door what they just did now, and then take it from there. Took them in the bag with the top 8 and carry on. You know, it's just overcomplicating something. Of course, it works because they wouldn't have done it otherwise. You know, it just I don't like knowing who we're gonna get or maybe get. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I thought it would be. Yeah. Where was this being held at again? Where did they have this
I think it was
riveting
Leon.
cast? Where was it? Was in Leon?
Neon.
Oh,
Hmm.
Neon.
Neon.
Leon's cousin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leon's cousin, Leon. Yeah.
Okay. Leon. Wait, Leon. Wait, you said Leon, like as in France, right?
No, Neon.
Neon.
N for
Oh,
N. It's another
Ah.
city
N.
in France.
It's a
Okay.
different city. Neon.
got you.
It's in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. It's in Switzerland,
Oh.
yeah.
I'm sure it's France. Huh?
Neon is in Switzerland, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not too far away from like the UEFA.
Yeah, it's Switzerland. Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's there. It's the home of football. He called it. It's not the home of football. It's just
It's not, but
It-
it's because FIFA's there.
it's the home of
and-
UEFA, basically.
And UEFA, yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
right on the border of France and Switzerland. Yeah, near Lausanne and Geneva. Geneva is the main sort of football headquarters, and
Mhm.
Neon's just sort of down the road from there. Yeah. You got Neon, the cousin from Neon, not so far away from there as well. That's mad.
Yeah.
You got
Do you
Dijon.
want to put up the press conference?
Sure. Go ahead.
Arnie's Barney. Where's Arnie's Barney?
Is
Yeah,
he
because-
live
yeah,
yet? Are
yeah.
they live or are they doing that? You know, 'cause sometimes they do that. They'll do the lead in for like 15 minutes or something. And you know,
Yeah.
it'll be like all
Then come
music.
on.
And they'll
Uh-huh.
just keep saying Liverpool FC or something, you know, or oh man.
Nice one, Macta, for your info.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. The pressure's done. Cool.
Already done. Okay.
Take care, Mactar. Hopefully come back for the preview, for the Cherries preview. Are you looking for it, Brian?
Where did I put it? Where did I put it?
Yes, Bernie. It's basically like we get a bye for the first round, so we don't have to play those 2 extra games, which is pretty nice. And then, you know, obviously it's good because look at it this way. City, who is starting to, you know, gain some traction in the Premier League, are now going to you know, have 2 extra games. Arsenal get to skip out on it though, since they got the 3rd seed. You want to queuing it up?
When it comes to this, we are aware of that, and maybe not always we've been perfect examples, but we are human beings as well. But we try to be as responsible as possible. The good thing in this country is the atmosphere in every ground we go to, every stadium is fantastic, and that's not everywhere in Europe. So I was in Holland. There's much more problems in and around the stadium than here in England. So England was maybe the first country that has this under control. Hopefully, England can become now also the first country that has the online abuse an answer to that, because it's about referees, but I think players get this, and if as a manager probably as well, if you lose a few games. So the social media thing is something we all are aware of, and hopefully, like I just said, we can get this in a way that this abuse is not there anymore. But at this moment, that's unrealistic.
I just wanted to ask you about Mo Salah as well, because there's quotes from the Saudi sports minister today where he says we would love to have him, which I don't think comes as any surprise to anyone given the numbers he's producing. But looking at it from an objective point of view, what would your advice be to someone like Mo over a move to Saudi when he's playing at the level that he is at the moment in terms of the
Oh, nasty
Would
question.
be surprised
What'd
if
he
there's
say?
anyone wherever around the world saying we don't want Mo Salah. So
He was saying, what would your advice to be to somebody like Mo Salah, who potentially, at the way he's playing right now, moving to Saudi Arabia? Okay.
doing
Okay.
so well for so many years.
It's a little
that
loaded
everybody probably
question.
wants him. And he's done so well without my advice for a long time. So he can probably keep doing what is best for his career, even without my advice. But my advice to him would be different than and then the one you just mentioned.
Can you expand on that slightly then?
Hmm.
Your advice would
He should be like, my advice to him would be
What I mean with
sign the
different is
contract.
everybody wants him, including us.
Stay
We
here.
want him to an extent, of course, as well. So
There you go.
Yeah, that is clear. But I'm not surprised that Saudi wants him, but I'm also not surprised would not be surprised if other countries want him as well. So yeah, he's been old and wise enough. He's done so many smart things in his career that he will make the right decision for himself and hopefully for us as well.
We will look at football because Bournemouth, 9 first team players injured, 11 Premier League games though unbeaten, 9 goals in the last 2 games, beating Newcastle and Nottingham Forest as well. So how do you assess the challenge that you face this weekend?
Yeah, it's a big one, and this is probably going to sound strange. And I knew this already when we played the second half against them in our home game. We were 3-0 up at halftime, and I was expecting a second half where we could just control the game, have the ball a bit, and hope maybe score the fourth one. But they just kept on going at us for 45 minutes, and that showed me the character of the team. And since then, they've been outstanding. They were before that game also, because we were 3-0 up at halftime. We didn't really match the first half, in my opinion. Maybe we deserved to be up, but not with 3 goals. And afterwards, they've beaten so many strong teams, and it's a simple reason for that. A lot of quality created by Richard, of course. He created our current sports director, who worked there for a few years, and he hired a fantastic manager as well. Why is he a fantastic manager? He has a great game plan, and his players work incredibly hard. And then in a different way than Arsenal, they are also a threat in set pieces. So where Arsenal 9 out of 10 times does the same, they always come up with worked ones that have been very useful for them as well. So in every department, a very good and strong team, and they deserve to be where they are. Maybe they even deserve a bit higher than the position they are at the moment.
And just following on from that, I don't know how much you've maybe seen the career of Justin Kluivert so far. I mean, 11 million euros, and look at the development he's had. He's looking like an incredible bargain. What do you make of him as a player?
Yeah, he's one of the many examples where I think Richard deserves a lot of credit for. But not only Richard, the manager, of course, as well, because he started working with him. And you know that I believe that the team makes individual better. So, yeah, you need quality. And that's what Richard brought there, and his successor probably as well. But I think most of the players that are there were there last season already as well. and the manager has done an incredible job. So Justin, great season he's having. Nice and good to see for us, because we always knew he was a big talent. He left Holland quite early. He was a bit criticized for that, because in Holland many people always feel you need to have some extra years in the Eredivisie before you go abroad. But he's a great example that you can be really successful by going abroad early and go to a few clubs, and then at a certain age, because I think he's only 24, he's not so old yet, and be at this level already. So he will play another big talent that has grown up at Ajax, Ryan Gravenberg. So interesting matchup tomorrow.
Obviously, you rested a lot of players in the previous game. We're expecting you'll make a lot of changes, but how is the rest of the squad? Any other players coming back from injury, etc.?
Yeah, you can say I rested a lot of players. You can also say you played the ones that needed playing time. And I was really pleased how they performed in PSV Eindhoven, who were, apart from 3 or 4 players that were not playing, had quite a strong team, and we were more than competitive even the second half when there were so many youngsters on the pitch. And the ones that stayed behind, they didn't rest in the sense that they had 3 or 4 days off. They did train, but they didn't play a game. And I said already that doesn't give us any guarantees for Saturday, but it hopefully will help us during the upcoming 3 or 4 months, because it's the Premier League and the Champions League is a long season for them, with 10 months in a row non-stop playing games without any weeks off in between. So hopefully that will help them to stay fresh for the upcoming months that are coming.
Hi, Arne. We saw Federico Chiesa play the 90 minutes against PSV. Every time he always seems to be really positive, always wants to attack. How much of a threat could he be for the rest of the season? And is he ready for more minutes in the Premier League as well, if called upon?
Yeah, of course. He's ready for more minutes in the Premier League, because if you can play 90 at Champions League level, then you are able to play an amount of minutes in the Premier League. His main problem, if you want to call it a problem, is that he's in competition with Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, Mo Salah, and Diogo Jota. And I think you agree with me that they are doing quite well also. But it's very good for us that it was 6 or 7 months ago, he said, against Swiss, when they lost in the Euros, was his last time he played 90 minutes. So it's very good from him, but definitely also from our performance staff, that we've, during training sessions, got him to the point that he's able to play 90 minutes without a lot of friendlies or whatever he has to play. So big compliment for him, how hard he worked, and for the performance of medical staff as well.
I know you mentioned Dominic Szoboszlai after the game last weekend, but at the end of last season, he was talking about the difference between the pace of the Bundesliga and the Premier League, and he maybe set the bar himself too high and didn't perform as well as he could have done in some games. What have you seen from this season to give you that kind of opinion that he can play that role for you this season now? How well he's doing?
If he said what you said, then I will talk to him today or tomorrow and say, at this club, you can never set the bar too high, because that's impossible. The bar at this club is of the higher standards, and this is what you have to, where you have to get to.
Well said, Arnie. Well
He
said.
meant that he played some really good games, and in football, it's impossible to play. If you play 60 games of a certain level, you can always go a bit lower. That's normal, but not too far. And then we are talking about consistency. And in this season, he's been very consistent in his work rate, which is a main thing in football. It's underestimated sometimes, but I just highlighted why Bournemouth is doing so well. I think it's one of the reasons why we do so well also. But he's not only working hard. If he works hard, the intensity he can run at, the intensity he can play duels in with is of the highest standards of this level we are playing at. So that's what for me stands out with him compared to many others. The ability for him to run in a certain intensity and keep on running. And I think what he is improving recent weeks or recent months is that he's more and more involved in dangerous attacks and sometimes in assists and goals. In the last game, he was involved in 2 goals. So that is something he deserves because he's putting so much work in, and his technique is also outstanding. So I've always felt that it's a matter of time before he would score goals, give assists, because his shot, his touch on the ball, yeah, he should set the standards high because he's a player that can reach definitely those standards.
You talking about Szoboszlai? Who was he talking about?
Dom.
And here to Dom, right? Okay, that's what I figured because I heard him say scoring.
Yeah, I spoke with him before this game, as I speak to him before every game, and 1 day before the game, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, we almost speak each other on a daily basis. Of course, I asked him a few things on Bournemouth as well, but we have very good people that analyze Bournemouth, and I'm doing this myself quite a lot as well. I see a lot of games of them already. So it's just the more information you can get, the better it is. But my relationship with him is very good, which is probably what you can expect if you win a lot of games, because mostly relationships between managers and sports directors are a bit under debate if you start to lose a lot. But no, my relationship with him is only very positive from start till now.
Carl? Just to go back to the question you asked about giving advice to Mo, and I know you're not involved in transfers and contract negotiations, but have you expressed your thoughts to those 3 players that are out of contract and some about where you
No idea what this guy's asking.
where you see their future?
I think you know the answer to this question, don't you? The answer is, of course, I speak with these players. I speak with them not every day like Richard, but quite a lot. And it would be ridiculous if in all these times I speak to them, we've never spoken about the future. So, of course, we do. But as you probably also know, that's not something I'm going to discuss with you where we are talking about. But but it's not only with the 3 that are out of contract. You also talk about
Excuse me.
future things with the other players as well. So it's a non-stop process talking to your players, but it's also a non-stop process that I will not talk about that here in public with you.
Just on timeline, Josh's return, Joe Gomez, is he ready to hit the squad?
All 3 of them are in training today. So then the question is, are they already far enough to join us towards Bournemouth? That's something we have to wait and see today, because we have probably also more than 20 players available. We always have more than 20 available, but the ones that are mostly there. So we have to make the smartest decision for them, but also for winning the game tomorrow.
Hi, Arne. You mentioned a few times there about how hard Bournemouth work and the physical attributes they bring to a game. We know they run more than anyone else in the Premier League. How much is winning that physical battle going to go towards winning the game? And how much did that influence your decision to rest so many players in the league?
Oh, that hasn't had any. There was no reason, because we play Bournemouth and they run so much, to rest them during the week. We would have done that against any other team that we face, because I already said it's not about. We rested them not because of the Bournemouth game. We rested them more for the long term, because and it's quite a long time between November and March that there's an international break and I have a week off. But then I know Virgil, I know because the Dutch team, I know that they play 2 games against Spain. So for them, it just keeps on going. And that's why I've already also explained that if you look at our season, after every 3, 4 or 5 weeks, we've tried to create a moment where players like Virgil and all the others that played so many games didn't play during the week. Mostly there was a League Cup game that they didn't play. So was that an answer to your question?
Well, how much the physical battle against a team like Bournemouth, who use those strikers so well, how much is that going to play towards winning the game?
Yeah, a lot. If you can't compete with them in that aspect, then you need luck to win the game, and then you need a special moment or or a special save or a lot of special saves from Ali to win the game. But if we're able to compete with them on a physical level, then the margins for us to have a chance to win the game go up a lot, of course. But if we cannot compete with them physically, which I think we definitely can, because we are a team that's really fit as well. I agree with you; they're just above us. Probably also has to do that we have a bit more ball possession than them. But I think it's one of the few games we've played this season that we were outrun, only by a small margin, but we were outrun against Bournemouth. And yeah, I hope that's going to be different tomorrow. But it's not going to be easy. These are also ongoing discussions we have, and you know how it is in football. Yesterday can be different than today or tomorrow. So if I can give you a certain answer now, and then of course we're not hoping that this is going to happen, but if I then leave the training pitch and we are free injuries along the training session, then it's going to be a different answer. So it's a process we are discussing a lot about, and these decisions will be made, will be pushed towards the end of the window, which is almost there.
Thank you. Thanks, Arne.
Bought one too many again. Sell on vintage.
Grab that. Yeah, thank you. So some of the questions I didn't really get to hear fully.
Well, the second last one, he was basically asking about Gomez, Jota, and the other lad, and he was saying they're all back in training. The last one, he was just asked,
wait, who's
how important it's going to be?
Diego?
Yeah, who was the other guy?
Probably Nunez, since he was sick, but
no, it was someone who was injured.
Someone was injured.
Jones, probably Jones. Then yeah.
Oh yeah, Curtis is sick. I mean, hurt. Excuse me. He's injured too.
So you're saying they were all training. The physical battle, the one before that was just contracts, and he just gave we're not going to talk about contracts thing. So yeah, nothing major. Praising Dom.
Yeah.
Just good stuff.
Yeah.
Usual stuff. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Like what the chat is saying, I sort of agree with certain comments about realistically, we haven't bought no one for 3 transfer windows. I'm not counting Chiesa.
That's nice.
Do we need anyone?
Wait. Hold on, though. JK. We bought 4 midfielders technically in the summer before this.
Yeah, but they weren't additional signings. They were replacing people who we got rid of with higher wages than the new guys were going to get. So it was a bit of a good business move in that way. I just feel right now, if we signed a big name tomorrow or today even, 99% of the Liverpool fans would be happy. They wouldn't be saying, we could have saved that money. I'm taking that player. Because why? Because we're at the position right now to win a lot of things. I think if we were struggling, it wouldn't be so... Yeah, we need a player, of course. But for me, when you're at the top, just to cement that position, you go out and buy someone. We're not a big spending club. I know that. But when you look at people like United, Chelsea, they spend without knowledge, without any wisdom. They just spend for the sake of it. Where Liverpool, when they spend wisely. Hence why a signing right now would help us a great deal. You know how football is. 1 minute guy's fit, next second he's bloody injured for 6 months. That's what football's like. Last season, it happened to us. We were up there. Boom. Right. Endo, Salah missing, everything just sort of collapsed. I don't want to see that again. I don't think it's going to happen again. It's a different film right now. But I just feel a signing right now will uplift the fans and uplift the players as well, seeing a new guy coming in. And also it will give the other teams a bit of, Liverpool even bought this guy, even though they're at the top. Just like a little business move for me. A new player who can do a job, no problem for me. You know what it is? Fans are getting used to us not spending money. and the owners are getting away with it.
Right.
Spend a bit of money. We're not acting about 250 million every transfer window. A little signing right now would be really nice.
Okay. So, I would as just as a counter view, or at least because I mean that's part of a show. You know, you always want with the whole thing. Okay. Again, this is why I wish ambition was put into Room 101. It's like the most overused word ever. But what I mean by this is that some 2023, 2020, wait, was it? No, it was 2000. The summer of 2023, we made 4 acquisitions for players that, albeit, were we had to make some type of room for, because I get that we have to make room, or that people want backups for backups apparently, but what I'm trying to get across is if we have a roster, we have a 23-man roster, right? Those players are not just quote unquote replacements per se. Like as in Hendo was told he was going to either have to take on a subsidiary role or he was going to be moved on from, or they're going to try to find him a destination basically.
Inter Milan.
And Fabinho, very similar terms. And also with and I'm trying to think who else left the team pretty much. Ox, Naby. They all were those players weren't going to be getting the numbers that, or the minutes that you would think they were all doing. I would just my pushback when I hear about the whole like getting players. The difficulty about that is that a player has to see a pathway towards having a future at a club. He's not going to want to come to a club that you're going to say, oh, you're just a patchwork or piecemeal to get us to a championship, albeit, or even to a title, albeit, but they're going to want to have like some foundation to be able to say, I'm going to have like a real opportunity to make something at this club. If you tell a player, I'm going to bring you to the club, but you're going to have to sit behind Salah, most players aren't going to say, oh, okay, cool. And the level of player that a lot of us want is certainly not going to say they want to come, want to get a part of it. At least in my perspective, I don't think a player would like to come to that premise. So I don't have a problem with solidifying, getting players that are going to help, be there for when injuries will happen. And I get injuries happen to all teams, but you have to have players that, like, it's the reason why I appreciated Endo this year, or I appreciated Gomez this year, or, because those are players that Endo more than Gomez possibly, but Endo, at least Gomez has taken on the role of being that, utility back for us, and having players that are going to realize that, yes, you're not most likely going to play. You might not be the vision of what we have as being our whatever position, fill in the blank for this role. Not saying that you shouldn't fight for the role or fight for the position or this and that, but I mean, realistically, we know who our starters are. That's how we all have a good concept of Virgil van Dijk's going to start. Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to start. Connor Bradley's a talented right back, but he's not starting over Trent Alexander-Arnold, most likely. I think the only, you could say, if we were to get a left back, for instance, to bring in a left back, not many teams are going to carry 3 left backs. At least I don't think so. So like, it's a matter of, and this isn't my perspective again. I know everyone's welcome to their perspectives, and I'm not saying your perspective is wrong. I'm just saying that from my perspective, I just see it as if we are going to go into this window, or if we were to go into this window, it would be most likely an opportunistic buy, as opposed to us getting some type of player that is going to be a starter for us. Because I don't think we're getting like who would you, for instance, who would you get? Who would you go out who would you go out and you could obviously go with a name that we're connected to, because that's obviously a player that we've put in some work towards. What player that we've been connected to are you going to say, get him in now, and then that'll get us either over the line, or I'll just get, that's the needle changer for needle mover for us. What player for you? I'll ask the panel that too. JK or KJ? KJ, we got JK and KJ. We got, and it's good that you guys are on the mirror sides of things right now.
Brothers, we're brothers, man.
Yeah, brothers, definitely. Yeah. Red brothers. We're all brothers, and it's all conversation. No one has no wrong answers. I'm just asking what is.
Yeah, let's not turn it into a battle. It's far too early for.
Yes, it is far too early and far too late for me. So
yeah. I mean, I've been reading the battle in the chat, and I ain't got no time for that at all right now.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, everyone's got their own opinion, you know. Like at the end of the day, you've got to support the team. I don't understand how, like, if you support Liverpool, unless you rob my house or something, I'm always going to talk to you. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Have an opinion.
Catch Jordan Henderson in the kitchen some nights, rummaging through your presses.
You know, so keep it sweet. You know, like you support Liverpool. At the end of the day, when the goal goes in, everyone celebrates together. Simple as.
I know. Big up Abdul.
KJ.
I make the sacrifice.
I make the
sacrifice for my brethren always. Go ahead, KJ.
Yeah, my only not issue, but like he says, there's no right or wrong answer in it. But my only issue is like people take things too far. Like just because we haven't made no sign windows, like are we actually looking at the whole bigger picture? We've had a whole revamp, not just Klopp leaving, not just the midfield the year before. We've had from top to bottom, we've pretty much had a whole revamp. Is no one gonna give at least a bit of time to at least see how things go? Because I agree, we should. I'm not even saying we don't need to make signings. We do, but right now, do we really need to make signings right now? The time for that was in the summer, and clearly we only bought in Chiesa. Since then, we've been top of the Champions League. We're into the round of 16 now, into the knockouts. We're top of the league. We look comfortably top of the league with no signings. Yeah, a signing would give us a boost, but when we actually look at the squad, where is there any space? We've already got 16 non-homegrown players, which only leaves one space for one non-homegrown player.
Yep.
And this is why I've says, like, I'm giving Hughes and Edwards the benefit of the doubt, because I said on a previous show before, like, Hughes earned his trust from me when over Mane and Salah. I didn't want either of those. And look how they turned out to be. And since Mane and Salah, all of Edwards' signings have pretty much shut me up. I'm willing to trust this process now and give Hughes the same attention and confidence and faith that I gave Edwards. The difference is I didn't give Edwards any faith from the get-go. I was just like, nah, I don't want Salah, I don't want Mane. Whereas this time around with Hughes, and he has Edwards above him, I'm giving him that faith to be like, okay, then I understand why we didn't do nothing in the summer, because Slot wanted to see the players. I was all up for that. I didn't mind that. This January, when I looked on it, I didn't think we needed to make a signing this January, so I'm okay with that. Summer is where I make my judgments on FSG, Hughes, and Edwards. But for now, we're all right. Like, realistically, who's to say that if we don't make a signing, that one signing destabilizes us. Who's to say? It could go either way. So all I'm saying is just at least give it to the summer. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. And we'll give it to the summer. Then let's make our judgments. This is the first year of Edwards and Hughes era back, realistically. So, yeah, just one of those. I don't even want to go off on a tangent, but yeah, that's just how I see things. I think we should just relax a bit.
Yeah, that's quick. Just a quick note is that's what I'm saying. Like, not many teams have 6 forwards technically. You know, I mean, a lot of us were surprised that when we did pick up Kiesa that we now have 6 forwards who basically have coverage on every role or every position of the team. Albeit every team's going to have to deal with injuries and the likes. You know, let's not get it twisted. But one thing I was stating, and it's like I spoke on earlier, is that when I was saying about when me and Magnum PI were going at it, right? I was saying about how I believe that one key aspect and something I'm happy about and something I'm hoping that will, you know, find the test of time this season with, and that is Slot's management. One of the key elements of why apparently this club chose him and why, like, because I just watched a really interesting piece actually on how, like, it did a deep dive on why the transition from Klopp to Slot was so seamless almost, and surprisingly seamless. And what it is that Slot was chosen because he has done a excellent job at Feyenoord at keeping his players fit, despite the fact that they're going through the same type of like rigorous year of commitments to tournaments and to international service and the likes. And he's done a great job at Feyenoord. And Hughes, Edwards, they all thought that Klopp was fantastic. But one unique thing about it is, yes, some of our players didn't have the ability to make it to the end of the line with an entire year. If we could find a coach that could utilize these excellent players, but have the maintenance of these players to get to that end of the line, I think you would see a substantial difference. Because the only thing that I think personally that took us away from a title last year was Salah getting hurt. Endo got hurt, you know, like players got hurt, but what did they get hurt in? They got hurt on international duty. Even Gomez got hurt, but Gomez got hurt on international duty. So it's like, you can prepare for all you want. You can like do all the different things, but by trying to bring in extra players. But if you're going to bring in a player to this particular team, you're going to have to get rid of a player to make room for that player, because there's no more room. This is KJ spoke on. We only have so many slots open for non-domestic players, and we have a fully packed squad with youth academy players that can and could possibly be utilized. I'm not saying for the long haul or the long run or whatever those parts and points are, but for when we are for some of these cup matches or for these like competitions that we would, of course I want to win. I want to win all the silverware, but at least that way you're bringing in youth academy players, giving them valuable experience, or you're bringing them into the fold of the team, and you're being able to, like, possibly, and our youth academy players have done phenomenal jobs for us, help and contribute to a team to getting an FA Cup, to getting a League Cup, you know, and getting those valuable minutes of rest for our players. And that's like the unique dance that you have to kind of do, I think. At least that's how I'm looking at it. But, but trust me, if there's an opportunity, if there's a Lucho out there that all of a sudden was going, or if Mateus Tell all of a sudden like rings up and says, "Hey, I'll go to your team," you know, sure, hook it up. If it's a promising player or opportunistic player, absolutely hook it up. But Chiesa was our opportunistic player that we picked up, and now he's rounding into form. We've spent $12 million on probably a $70-80 million player that is starting to round into form of a 60, 70, 80 million pound player.
Look at how everybody was in panic stations just before Christmas about Chiesa, to the point where, especially when the rumors of him wanting to leave and whatnot was coming about, everyone was like, he's a waste, like he don't play, he's just another Thiago, blah blah blah. Look at him now. Look at him
that's
now.
what I mean, bro, KJ. The amount of rubbish I hear from people, like they don't understand about they're human beings, they're not robots. Like you can just put them in the workshop and get a screwdriver out and fix them in 2 seconds. Now it takes time, and it's all about change of scenery, weather, whatever it is, food, could be anything. And some people could click straight away, bang, get on with it. But this guy took time. Now we've seen the benefit of that. Football is a game of patience. If you haven't got it, you ain't gonna win. You know, as soon as you like Chelsea,
That's my point,
example of that.
Exactly. Football is a
This
game
guy will
of
get sacked.
patience. We
get
can't
sacked.
all be impatient. Like it comes across as us being like Chelsea fans with this impatientness. Like our club is not built on that. And if you don't know that, then you're supporting the wrong club. Like we're a different type of club to the rest of the clubs in England. We're a different type of club to other big clubs.
Liverpool do it differently at the big clubs. Yeah, they do it their own way. It's a cheaper way, but it's the most effective way because of the guys we had running the show, Klopp and Slot, for example. They've sort of done their jobs to the best they could have, and they've sort of benefited the owners and the club in general because they haven't had to outlay crazy money like Chelsea and United. In that way, I'm thankful. But I just feel sometimes, you know, that cherry on top of the cake when you've made your cake and you put the cherry on top and you know it's finished. I think that's what we lack, you know, that just cherry on top of the cake, just to cement that title push, Champions League push. You know, it's like one player. We could sell any of our players in our squad. You can go tomorrow and get a guy to come in. But I think patience is very important. Gravenberch, Gapco, the amount of crap I heard about them 2 guys, it was horrible, isn't it? 12.
Well,
we were on shows.
Gakpo got a load of stick last season.
He would have been gone, but that's the part of the point. Like if we were going with trying to make room, and I'll let Brian go next. I just want to say, if we would have acted on a lot of the people's like, you know, oh, this player's got to go, this player's not Liverpool level, this is, well, we got to get another player in, or this or that, or who do we let go to make room for a player to come in into January? Guess what? Dominic Szoboszlai probably wouldn't be here. Guess what? Curtis Jones probably wouldn't have even been here. Guess what? Let's see who else. Cody wouldn't have been here because I know there's plenty of yelling about Cody Hakpo not being the level after he got that, especially after he got the injury last year and took a little time to get back to the levels that he was. I mean, like the list goes on with this player and player and player that would have been gone in January, but because they did wait on them, they were able to do it. And albeit you do get your Naby Keitas and your other players that don't necessarily pan out to be worth the wait, you know. But again, sometimes you do. And it's a matter of like, are you willing to like give up on something that you have a good contract with? You might have has a good relationship in the locker room. It's conducive to making the locker room work because I think we have one of the healthiest locker rooms in football right now. And is it about bringing in someone that's got to do all those things you said? Adjust to the culture of England, adjust to the culture possibly of the team, of the coach, you know, find his way into trying to be a starter or maybe even fitting into a super sub or whatever he's going to be and have all those aspects. That's a very big gamble. That's all. That's what I'm trying to get across. But Brian, you wanted to say something as well. I'm sorry to cut across you.
Well, I think we're overanalyzing it a lot. Players our clubs buy and sell players all the time. It happens. You know, you can find a million reasons why it wouldn't work, but you can find a million reasons why it would work. We brought in Gakpo in January. Look where we are now with him. You know, if like you said, if there's a guy out there, we're not going to do like something like Chelsea, like, oh, there's a day left. Let's just go and get a João Felix or and never play him, or let's just go and get Carney Chukwuemeka because he's young and promising and never play him. But if there was a Gakpo out there, you know, we'd go and do it. Like someone saying there's only one homegrown spot left or non-homegrown spot left. Yeah, that's
Right.
one.
There is. Right.
Yeah, so you could take it. You could use that one spot. But I don't like at this time, no, and definitely not without. I think it was much more likely that we would have done someone if someone came in and took one of our players and that player said, I want to go. Then we would have
Right.
done something. But yeah, look, if players coming and going, Endo came in. He wasn't told. He was told the opposite, that he was going to be starting. He came in, he fitted in. Everybody that's come in is fitted in. I'm just assured of the fact that in the summer we will move some players on and we will bring some players in. That's just part of football. It always happens.
Mhm.
We, like the lads are saying, like we're not a club that does. Probably fans look at other clubs. Like the one that always annoys me is like every summer it's been like, oh, we spent less than Leeds this year. We spent less than Villa. You know, this kind of shit. It's like, yeah, they bought about 17 players and didn't sell
Yeah, for a
anybody. You
reason.
know,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
we've always done less. But people look around and they see, look, everyone can do it their own way. But some fans, I think they look around, and they see clubs signing 6, 7, 8, 9 players. You know, but we don't do that. And but I don't think we should ever be afraid of saying we had a great time with that player and he had a great career, but there's a future and we'll be moving on, we'll be changing. But it not like that 6, 7, 8 out the door and eight in the door. I think Ferguson always said anything more than 3 is too many, but you
Right.
need at least 2. He said every year I'd want to change 2. More than 3 is too many, but I always want to change 2. Now, I'm not saying he was the only guy that knew how to do it, but yeah, you need to refresh, keep people on their toes, bring in new people. But if you change it too much, so I think that's what we're trying to do is like add 1 here, add 2 in the next window, then add 1, and not like 4 or 5. Oh God, we need another 6 now, and we're going to sell those 2 guys. We're kind of doing it in the right way, but I can understand a lot of impatience because you know it's just how fans feel. But look at where we are. Look at where it's
Mhm.
gotten us.
Yeah,
You know, it's
sorry, Brian, carry on.
no. That's what I was going to look. If doing what we do gets us to where we are now, I mean, we're not doing too badly, are we?
No, of course not. Like, I do get the impatience as well, but my thing is with the impatient side of things is we're not seeing anything we haven't saw before at our club. Like, the impatient thing is we can demand on request and ask for an extra signing or 2 or things like that, but based on business we have done before, based on times where we have been on top and should have capitalized on that, we haven't. Like, there's no history, there's no anything to say that we're going to do anything different. And that's not to say that we won't do it, but it's to say, like, the same way how you'd give them credit and praise and whatnot when the dude gets something right is the same way I feel like we should give them time and space, basically, to let them approach this, not this window now, but this summer coming. Is basically what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
definitely in the
Okay.
summer. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
too
that's why
late
I
now.
said there's no right or
Circular.
wrong answer. It's more like just not even the impatient fans, just the ones who are making the same point impatient fans are saying, but they've took it too far to the point where it's coming across as like moaning and things like that.
It kind of sounds like it when I get that, you know, we've been in this position before in the sense of, you know, being in leading the league and not being able to get to the final line, but like, or to the finish line. But again, this year is certainly different in that it's not like we have City breathing down our neck, much less us trying to keep pace with a City team, you know, like as in we have virtually, I know someone was saying 10 wins. I've seen all these like videos where 10 wins, 5 draws, you know, and basically will win the league or something along those lines. I don't know if that's like the exact number that is necessary to get us over the line from where we're at. But if it is something like that, in essence, we need 12 wins in essence, to get us over the line and done. Because if 10 wins and 5 draws, that would, obviously the 5 draws are 5 points. All you would need to do is do 2 additional wins rather than 5 draws, and you've got 6 points. So if that's the case, then it's just a matter of, do we have what it takes to get 12 wins? I think we have what it takes to get to 12 wins. I don't see it as, I don't look at this team right now currently and say we have to go into the January market to get some player right now, because we're not moving on. As much as people want to make this FIFA or or some type of form of FIFA, like unless Robbo all of a sudden just does not want to be here, we're gonna have Robbo to the summer. Unless Simicast just doesn't want to be here, and he's not BFFs with Mo Salah anymore, apparently, right? In some people's minds, I guess. Chances are he's going to be here till the summer, at least till the summer. Will he be here after the summer? I don't know. That could be a different story. But again, I'm willing to allow for, just as KJ said, to be, this team has gone through a complete sea change in the way that it's going to be directing transfers and the direction of the players in the team. This coach is not a manager. He is not Jurgen Klopp. If anything, when Edwards left and when all the components of what Edwards had set up pretty much left, this team became Jurgen Klopp's team. He was definitely the skipper at the helm. And one thing I can say is that it was a lot. He did his best, and he did a great job, I think, personally. Did the best he could do, but it obviously took a lot out of him, to the point where he had to leave early from his contract. So with that said, this club decided to bring back Edwards, give him the deal that he wanted to get to administer all the future and current football teams that are going to be under the helm. And he put in place a sporting director that we believe is a comparable sporting director. I know people are already slighting this guy as a sporting director, but the team that we're playing tomorrow, or the team we're playing, tomorrow, because it's Friday, the team they're playing tomorrow is the team that sporting director has set up, that so many people are lauding over, about how they set up such a good team and set up such a good coach. Those components are now working for us. I'm willing to give them the benefit of doubt, to give them some type of a run, at least for this year. Because so far they've done pretty well. Go ahead.
You know what it is as well? Like football is like this. You can win a title, like Leicester City. I don't think they won't win another Premier League title again. That's my opinion. Liverpool are a team of dominance. In the 70s and 80s, they dominated football domestically and European football. They won a lot of titles in them days. Why? Because every season they'd add 2 guys to the squad. Aisley did it, Shankly did it, whoever in that reign, Fagan, they all did it. And the thing is, with Liverpool in the era of FSG, they haven't dominated domestic English football. We won 1 Premier League title, and we had the chance with Klopp to be dominant. And with dominance, you get wins, you win trophies, you make more money. It's like a knock-on effect, and that's what it's all about. If we took advantage of Klopp and his know-how in that era of when we had Bobby, Mane, Salah, Virgil, the whole lot, we would have more Premier League titles than Man United right now, and Champions League would be beyond AC Milan. We'd be catching up with Real Madrid, and that's what it is. They sort of gamble a little bit too much, with Liverpool Football Club. And football's about 2 or 3 things. One, when the ball goes over the line, and another one is getting transfers in. People love that. Why? It shows that the club want to improve. They're showing ambition. They want to show the manager we like this guy. You know, Slot's been in there how long now? But not too long. But for me,
9
when
months.
it comes,
Yeah, exactly. 9 months.
yeah, but the comment about him being a coach and not a manager makes me laugh a little bit, because for me, when you're a football guy,
He said
it
it
doesn't matter if
today,
you're a
though.
coach.
He said it
Yeah, but
today.
I'm just trying to explain something to Alf that
No,
when
no, I'm sorry.
you're
Go
a
ahead.
guy
My
in
apologies.
football, you should. I know Arne Slot has got 5 guys on a piece of paper who would say, you know what, I'd love to have them at my club here right now. But he can't say that. Why? Because he's a coach. He don't know nothing. But he's got us. He's got us to the top of the Premier League and the Champions League table. That's what makes me laugh about this coach manager sort of sayings. The guy's a football man. He's a football guy. You can give him what name you want. He could be a stock filler in a Asda or Tesco's or somewhere. You know, it doesn't matter. He's still doing the job. And I think he knows a lot about football, and he knows what guys you would like. He's probably got a list there. He says, you know what, if I had this guy right now, you're winning everything.
I'm only emphasizing the fact that I know there's been, this administration has gone both directions when it comes to that premise. When King Kenny was our coach, they gave King Kenny what he wanted if he asked for it. But then they went more with the Edwards scheme of things. Okay, they brought in Edward, or they had Edwards, and Brendan Rodgers bumped heads with him a little bit and this and that, and they tried to make Brendan Rodgers understand that he was going to be more of a coach than he was a manager per se, you know, and that resulted in what it resulted. And then Jurgen Klopp came in, but they tried to hold true to just allowing for Edwards to build the team. And then eventually Edwards left, and they allowed for Klopp to build the team in the way that he wanted. He had it, you know, and that's what we got. And I mean, we've gotten varied results from that. But to say that we've only done one tried and true method is not, I don't think, accurate. I think we've tried various methods to accommodate whatever parcel of the puzzle that we had in there, whether it was King Kenny, whether it was Brendan, whether it was obviously Klopp, and now with Slot. I think Slot is a coach that understands that he did the same role at Feyenoord. There's so many working pieces that make it work now. Allow for the number crunchers and all those people to do what they do best. Though I'm not saying he doesn't have any input, but I mean he's going to allow for these people to somewhat put the players that they know and believe will work best for what he needs to do. And again, like if anything, Slot has come in and done exactly what Klopp did, which is come into a window and say, I'm going to take this team, I'm going to evaluate it, and then I'm going to make the appropriate evaluations from it, because I believe these young men, if not men, need or can use that respect and appreciation of, hey, they're a talented team. That's obvious. I just think that, like, you know, it's like I don't know. I just think that that's very important. That's all. I think it's very important. It's I just watched the whole thing on the boot room, and like and the progression that Liverpool saw from great coach to another great coach, you know, and like the transition was and the whole like kind of upheaval and turmoil that people were going through because they were going to be bringing a new coach was somewhat similar to what you're seeing. But it was a case where you had a great coach, and then you had another great coach come in and take it to another level. I'm hoping Slot can take this team to another level. Not saying that he's a better coach than Klopp. I'm just saying that I'm hoping that he can just take this team that's been primed to be a great team to even better level. That's what I'm hoping, at least.
Like for
No,
me,
I agree.
like,
People forget that when we had Brendan, we had the transfer committee, and who was one of the key figureheads on that transfer committee? Edwards. Back then, people were saying, some fans were saying we should have let Brendan be able to pick the players because he's the manager. Others were saying, well, we have a transfer committee for a reason, and Brendan should utilize the players that they basically list for him, and then he can pick off there. Or the mishmash signings, like having the transfer committee signings and then Brendan getting like Benteke and whatnot. That's how we end up with a mismatch of players to suit the system that our team wants to play, and that's what we're trying to avoid now.
Well,
we've
just ask
avoided
the
it for
boys
a
at
while.
Spurs. KJ, just ask the boys at Spurs. You know, they bring in a Mourinho and a Conte, and they have very, very kind of strong opinions. Now, I'm just using this as an extreme example. I'm not saying no manager should or coach should have input, but you end up with Conte just wants to play with wing backs, 3 centre halves, and they go out and buy lots of those type of players. They got him a load of wing backs. Next thing you know, he's gone in 9 months. Bring in a new manager with a different style of play. You know, that's, I think, what all clubs are trying to do now is basically bring in someone that can bring in top footballers, and then also identify a manager that will be able to work with 90% of them at least, and then do his own little bits and pieces. But yeah, they don't want to end up a situation where you come in, you spend 200 million under a manager, and he has 4 or 5 specialists in his team that are very much the players he wants. Doesn't work out with him, he gets sacked. The next manager comes in and goes, oh yeah, you know that 80 million pound whatchamacallit you bought, or do you know what, this guy that you bought, they won't work in my system. So you need that continuity as well, because you're, you know, but this is the modern game, you know, this is just the way it goes. You're not going to bring in the manager and go, okay, so what players do you want? Here's some blank checks.
Eric,
2 years later, he's gone.
Yeah, but I say, if you want that, you could look at Eric Ten Hag. How about that?
Yeah, they gave him the keys to the castle.
They gave him
Look
the
what he
keys
did.
to the kingdom. 90 million on Anthony. You know, like this forward doesn't work out. Cool, we'll go spend 70 million with your ambition. Tell me how that ambition got you, where it got you.
But look at it the other way. What have they done?
Smart acquisitions. Make
Yeah,
smart
but look
transfers.
the other way. It's go ahead and stretch that out. What have they done? Just what I'm talking about. They brought in Ruben Amorim, who goes, yeah, I play a completely different style of football.
Yep.
And I need different players.
Exactly. A completely different
Are
system.
they going to
Yeah.
back Amorim and then bring in only a manager that will work with? You know, it's what they're doing doesn't make any sense to me. Well, not that it should, but what Man United are doing doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
They're going
What
down a very
Amarim's doing at
specific
United is exactly what Hughes and Edwards has turned Amarim down for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is exactly why when Klopp announced he was leaving, all I wanted was a manager who was going to play either a similar style football to the style Klopp was playing, but exactly Slot. Like me personally, I've always said my first choice was Flick, based on what he did at Bayern and based on the type of manager he is. And my second choice was Nagelsmann. But my third shout was literally someone completely out the box, someone none of us know. And this is why, because imagine we switched up our whole system now and we started playing with 3 at the back with wing backs. We don't even have the players to suit that system.
Yeah, I will say this. The Irishman has the same opinion. He has the same opinion he has on every channel. So I don't know where that comment's coming from. But I agree, I understand exactly what you mean. Like Amarin was not going to work out. One, because of what Amarin did by going to West Ham. If you're not a true Liverpool, like true Liverpool's the team for me, then kick rocks. You know, like the whole like going and trying to go to other teams and get a appointment or try to push the push the message of you better hurry up or I'm going to go to this team. Well, then go to that team. That's how I looked at it. And then the same thing with and I will say that, look, I think I would have accepted and would have appreciated and loved to see Xabi Alonso become the coach, but even Alonso would have been a different transition of everything, because you got to recognize, or at least my perception of recognition is that our youth academy, like all the different levels of Liverpool are set up to be what we have in the senior team.
Yep.
And you would have to base, and all the talent, all the acquisition, all the players that we have are set up to eventually possibly be a transitional player to the senior team. But but we were just bringing up Manchester United with Amarin. He wants to play with a 3-back system. That's not Manchester United football. But now that they have him in and they're going to commit to it, they're going to have to figure that out. They're going to have to bring in players that can play his system, or otherwise you're going to have a 12th, 13th, 14th in the table type team that's, losing because they got players playing positions that they're not comfortable with or in the likes. And then you can't move them on because they got £300,000 a week salaries, or wages, or they have or you're still trying to make back the 80, 70, 80 or 90 million that you spent on the player. It's just not happening.
Just look at United. There's been civil war within the United fan base since Fergie left.
Exactly.
If you actually deep it, the fan base has been split in half. It's been split in quarters. It's been split in thirds. Ever since Fergie left, there's not one time since Fergie's gone where they've all moved as one unison. The club from top to bottom, the fans, the whole establishment. There's always been something. Whereas with us, let's be real, we only seem to have these problems when, especially since Klopp's come in, we only seem to have this problem when it comes to players, when it comes to adding one or two. And it's not like we're asking for Mbappe's, it's not like we're asking for Neymar's, basically like £100 million players on things like that. We're just asking them to do a bit more, basically. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, we do need more. Every side needs more. Every team needs more. You ask Southampton, who are bottom of the table, you ask them if they don't need more. They do. But they're not going to do something that's going to be to their detriment. So why should we? Especially when things are working. Like, there's that funny old saying, if it's not broke, then you don't need to fix it. And right now, would you say that our season is broke?
Yeah.
If you actually compare it to the rest of the league, or the rest of, let's just say, like City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, United, where are they?
Yeah.
Arsenal are the closest ones to us, and even then, do they look like they're gonna mount a, let's just say, 10-game winning run?
You know what it is as well?
It's incredible how so many people. Oh, sorry, JK, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the thing, like what we're saying about United and Chelsea, is what I was saying earlier about we have to spend money wisely. It's like a guy, he wins the lottery, he's lost it within the year. That's United and Chelsea. There'll be another guy who's won the lottery and they'll make it last for the rest of their life, and that's FSG. But with that money, that FSG, that guy who wins the lottery, he's going to have for the rest of his life. He's going to have his fun times, and then fun times is buying players. So there's two ways. You cannot waste money in football no more, because the wages they offer these guys as well, like ridiculous. Anthony, like he probably on about 280 grand a week. What did he do for United? He did nothing, Now he's at Real Betis. Us fans don't want us to go crazy. I would hate to be Chelsea. Spent 1.4 billion in the last 2 years. I would hate to be that club right now, because as fans, we're all accountants. We always look for the health of the team, of the club. Oh, look, we're that much in debt and stuff. So we love the club. That's why we do that. But I'm just saying, now and again, when you run the lottery, you got to enjoy your life as well. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Agreed.
Agreed. I understand. Very true.
But for me, it's about cementing what we got right now. Right now, if it's not broke, okay, cool. But have a spare tire in the boot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 Like if you look at our depth, like if there was a few depth charts or squad depth charts that was flying around start of the year,
Right.
and we like most teams can't say they have 2 players for every position. We
They
can.
can't. Yeah.
We're one of them who can. And on top of that, if you want to even go an extra mile, you could say we don't even have 2 squads. We have 3, because just look at the squad we played against PSV. Rival fans are saying that was our second team. Would any of you say that was our second team?
I think Brian said it was like our third team.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 12.
I agree with Brian and 12. That was you may as well say that was a youth team with 1 and 2 experience in there.
Yep.
Pretty much. Nowhere near our second team. Nowhere near our second team.
Yeah, Robbo with centre half. That's not our second team.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's competing against a team. That's competing against a team in Champions League. You know, that is fighting for a win.
Like, yeah, Dan's is probably our 7th choice attacker.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
McConnell, probably 7th choice mid.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's mad when you look at it like that. You know?
Yeah.
And we were playing against a team who haven't lost over 50 games at home. You know, so
you know,
we didn't look out.
We moved up that list.
I was gonna say real quick, we rested 15 players. I believe that was the number that was put out there, like 15 players 15, that are normally looked at as being a possible starters on our team were rested for that game. 15.
I think so, like Salah watching the game the other night, I bet he was dying to say, I wish I was there, you know, playing. So I think tomorrow he'll be like full of energy, like let's go and win. You know, we lost the other day. Let's go and get a win now.
I hope, yeah. Well, I'm also thinking that we're going to do a preview later on today, and hopefully you guys join later on today. Hopefully we can get the same numbers that we got. We got a really great number of people that showed up today for the watch along, for the draw, and for obviously for even to hung out to watch the presser. But this team that we're going to be going up against tomorrow, you know, they don't have the same number of tournaments that they're involved in, you know, where they're playing sometimes 2, if not close to 3 times a week, you know, practically. What could feel like 3 times a week sometimes when you're playing on like a Sunday and a Wednesday and then a Saturday or something crazy. Or a Saturday, what was it? Saturday, Wednesday, and now a Saturday again. So, but yeah, I think you're right, JK. I think that these players, I think Mo and the guys are going to be really, really ready to be they're probably itching to get out on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
that's why I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Any news on Darwin?
I don't.
He'll be fine, I'd say.
Yeah, I think he'll be ready for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He'll be
so
ready.
In other words, he went Holland, had a bit of fun, fell asleep. Yeah, that's simple.
Yeah. He drank his yerba mate and got him back into the swing of things, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll all be fired up, rested. It's like I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm not saying it's like it's a kind of a weird mood because like we lost that game, you know, but
yeah,
everybody seems to be overwhelmed. Like if you kind of just overheard the conversation, you'd think they were talking about a team that got a result.
Yeah,
you know, it's just So it's the mood around it is still quite positive, even though we did lose. You know, it's like, yeah, close game. You know, or so I know there was some people saying yes, that was a shocker. You know, that was awful. But overwhelmingly, the mood around it seems to be positive. So I suppose, you know, the old saying is like, there's ways of losing a game. You know, like that wasn't a bad way to lose a game. I don't think we were coming back from there with anybody with their heads down, thinking other than Nalo, thinking that it was a disaster. I think even Dan's McConnell, these people feel like they had a good game. You know, so it's interesting that we managed to take a kind of an overwhelmingly positive mood back from there, even though it was our first loss and we lost our kind of 100% record or whatever. But nobody will be coming back. Oh, damn! I messed. You know, that was my opportunity. I messed it up. I thought they were all relatively did pretty well. So I think I would say McConnell was 7th choice. I think maybe McConnell might have moved himself up a rung after a game like that.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree. I mean, considering that Slot said that performance was certainly a benefit to saying he should stick around as opposed to go out on loan.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he was on the pathway to being loaned out. I think for.
Yeah, I think there was a few. It's like, keep it. I want to have a look at this guy before we let him go on loan, kind of thing. Whereas obviously there was a few that he was like, yeah, fine, they can, you know, they can move on loan. But the likes of Dan's and McConnell, it seems like he just was like, no, I want to have a look at these guys because I like them.
Yeah.
You know, before I decide to, send them to Blackburn or send them to Leipzig or something or wherever, you know, wherever. And I'm glad we did. I really like to look at him. I think that's what I think. It just stood out to me that Dan's didn't leave on loan when there was a lot of talk about it. We had so many forwards. And so
No,
many other
Dan's was gonna go on loan. Remember, he was injured. That's what stopped his loan.
Is that what's okay? I was because I thought there was a lot of talk about it.
Was where was Dan's meant to go again?
Plymouth.
Was it? Okay.
To Rooney, with Rooney and stuff. Then Rooney got sacked. Then he'll end up playing against them in the FA Cup and scoring a hat-trick. Watch.
Yeah, he called it right there.
So
that would be fate, yeah.
But since he came back from injury, playing with the under-21s, he's obviously earned himself a call-up again. Obviously due to Jota being out and things like that, but at the same time, he hasn't been just left in the under-21s just to continue his development there. We've still bought him up. We only bought in Rio in the summer. We've seen him already.
Yeah.
He's 16. Like, can we not appreciate these things? Like, if there's one thing about our club is our youth, and thanks to Klopp, but our youth have proved in numerous amounts of times that they can come in and do a job. They can come in and do more than what's expected of them. They won us a Carabao Cup, for Pete's sake. Yeah, it was Verge's header, but if we're looking on the Chelsea game, would anyone say that there was nervous in the final when all the youth came on for basically the whole of the extra time and the last 10 in normal time? I was confident we'd still go on to win it, and we did.
Yeah.
And that's
Wasn't
down to
McConnell the one who got the assist?
Yeah.
For that Virgil goal. Like, it was McConnell got
No,
the
that was
assist.
Tsimikas got the assist.
Oh, Tsimikas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Tsimikas.
still,
Yeah.
McConnell was
the weirdo when he
came
did Tsimikas and the weirdo celebration.
Oh, that was weird. I was like, brother, what you doing there?
that was wild.
I think even Virgil looked at him like, man, what are you doing?
Anyway, I'm married.
Oh man.
But
Big
I
up,
think what it
Cedric. Big up,
is,
Cedric.
McConnell.
Safe travels. And have a good day at work, brother.
Oh, bless Cedric. McConnell does good in training. That's why they're keeping hold of him. He must train really well and play well in training. And what KJ was saying about the League Cup. That's why I like the League Cup. It's a squad cup, youth players, first team players mixing it, winning games. That's why I like the League Cup more than the FA Cup. So, listen, I'm not a big fan of Dan's. Yeah. I just feel he's a bit too bulky. Like, yeah, he can score goals, but it hasn't clicked yet for me. Like, where for me, Kwanzaa, Bradley, them two guys, for example, it clicked. Yeah, I can rely on them. They could do a job. They play pretty all right, I think with Dan's, it's going to take a little bit of time, but he's got a game under his belt now, I think in the FA Cup, we'll see him again as well. We've got Tottenham as well coming up. Maybe he might be a part of that. But he might be doing well in training as well for us to keep hold of him.
I think Dan's has been, since he's come back from injury, I think he's pretty much done what he's been asked to do, what he's been instructed to do. Like, obviously, he's still young, still developing and whatnot, but he wouldn't be playing if the manager didn't trust him.
Agreed.
Yeah, he wouldn't have played him against. We never really had any other options, but you're not going to start anyone you don't really trust in a Champions League game. You just don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for me, he needs to stay in the box. He's that type of striker, like a Haaland. Second ball, hits the post, he's there, bang. I think he will be that type of striker, and I think he dropped a lot in the game. Like, he's on the halfway line sometimes and stuff. But for me, he needs to be fed. And I think that's one improvement I want to see in the team, is where our wingers and midfielders give the guy who's playing the number 9 position something in the box to play with. It becomes square ball, bang. Them side, that's why our strikers sometimes don't shine, because of what they're being fed. Scraps, really. You've seen it with Darwin's 2 goals against Brentford. Both goals were right in front of the goalkeeper in the box, bang, bang. No, nothing thinking about it. And I think when we see Dan's do that, he'll get more confidence as well. He weren't offered nothing in that game.
This is why, like, I question whether Slot wants an actual box 9 as his forward. Like, everybody's now saying we need a 9, we need a 9, we need a 9. But based on the evidence we've been given up until this point on the Slot, like, it don't seem like he wants an actual box 9. It seems like he wants, let's just say, a Roberto Firmino region who can probably do a bit more GA.
Absolutely.
Because the 2 9s that we do have in terms of like Dan's, Jota and Darwin, they're all been instructed not just to offer the press, but they've been instructed to obviously drop back deep as well. Like what we saw of Dan's in that PSV game where he was dropping so deep, that's happened all season with Darwin.
Yep.
I just don't get why people are making the argument about Dan. Dan shouldn't have dropped deep. He should have been in the box, blah, blah, blah. But if you're going to use the argument for Dan's, then where was this energy for Darwin the whole season? And I'm not saying you have to be a massive fan of Darwin or anything like that. But you can see with your own eyes what we've been instructed to do, how players have been instructed to play their positions. And we've been on the Slot now long enough where we know the type of system we're playing.
Yeah, that's why.
So far, Jota's his preferred forward. If all forwards are fit, Jota's the 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but look quickly at Man City. What they did is brought in Haaland, who for me is the best in the business. That second ball, goals. He'll hit the post, he'll be there. There's a free kick, hits a wall, he's there to get the ball in. And what it is, Man City play their football in the way where they keep the ball in defence, midfield, tight, feed Haaland, bang, bang, bang. And that's for me, Brentford game. If Trent didn't pass that square ball in the box to Darwin, bro, we're not getting them 3 points that day. So sometimes, you got to keep to the system what the manager wants. But for me, sometimes you got to play ball and common sense football. And common sense football for me is a simple pass.
About this City argument is, like, I totally agree with you, JK, but the Man City, well, some Man City supporters that I've saw on or read up on, the one issue that they have with Pep is that from last season, even though Haaland got his numbers last season, they're not playing to Haaland. The only person in the team that plays to Haaland is KDB. Now, this is one of the problems that the City fans are having, because they have the best manager in the world right now. And yet they're asking their manager, who's the best in the world, to play to Haaland more.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they switched Savinho from being a right winger to a left winger, where Savinho, instead of cutting in inside now, he's actually delivering crosses, passes across the box. They're actually trying to find Haaland now, whereas you could say the first half of the season, nobody could find Haaland unless it was from a set piece, a corner, something like that. He wasn't getting fed the same service he was getting fed in Haaland's first season. This is now his third season.
Yeah.
Yeah, just before you go, I just got to drop it. I got to go and make lunch for the family. I will see you later on for the preview.
Yeah, we're gonna continue a lot of this conversation once we get to the preview. And I think that what KJ said is spot on. I've been saying as well. Very similar states in the conversation. Hopefully, KJ, you can join. Will you be able to join us for the? Will you be able to join us?
I'll try to be able to come on for the preview.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. We can continue this conversation there, because I agree with you completely on that point. I know that JK has a somewhat similar viewpoint, I believe, on that as well. But I know that I agree with you completely. I've been saying it from the very beginning. I love Diego. I think he's a incredibly talented box in the box style, number 9. But as he's being asked to do, different things or more emphasis on doing like a deeper role of a hybrid false 9 in essence, And if anything, it makes me think of if we had certainly a younger Bobby Firmino in this, we'd be what levels we'd be at right now is just sick. But even at this stage of Bobby's career, we might be able to still utilize him in some type of capacity. So who knows? But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's the what people say. I'm like a fanboy or something, because that's my guy.
Quick question, KJ. Who would you play up top tomorrow then?
Say again? I don't think you heard
who would you the front three? Who would your front three be for tomorrow?
We should save that for later.
Yeah. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back for the preview.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We're gonna do a preview at 7:00. People, please join us at 7. It's already 6:00 in the morning. I'm gonna try to get a quick 5 some odd hours, close to 6, closest to 6 that I can push it type hours, and I'll be back to do the preview with you guys. And but I'm sure Brian, JK, KJ hopefully will be here too, and some others on the panel, maybe Lee. We might even have Dara on the chat later on. So we'll have a full squad ready for you. Some really thorough Reds, and also Reds that, hey, we all don't have the same opinion on the different things and the likes, but we're all respectful and appreciative of each other's opinions. We like to definitely do the debate. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about, having a forum to speak our minds on. And that's what we're trying to do the best that we can do here. So as always, big up to Brian. If you haven't signed on to Brian's channel, I hope that you do. Where he has the same opinion on here as he does on his own channel, by the way. If anything, he's a little bit more rough on this channel than he is possibly even on his own channel.
But 25, when you look at it, 25 take away 24 is 1, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. That's mathematics.
That's mathematics. It's mathematics. But yes, big up Nigel, big up Cedric, big up Nolante joining us, big up Trudon, Big up. A lot of there were so many heads earlier in here that it'd be tough to get through everyone that showed up.
Yeah,
Bernadette,
Marianne as well.
Bernie,
Yeah.
yes, definitely one of our red
Bernie
jewels.
and Mary, yeah.
Mary, yep, definitely. Big up to
Abdul as
Red
well.
Rebellion TV. Abdul,
Jimmy, Nigel.
Jimmy. Oh yeah, Jimmy was in here early. Yep, remember that too. Mark A was here. A lot of good names, a lot of good people, and appreciate the fact that you guys were able to, get into a little bit of some certainly touchy, sensitive areas where you might have some opinionated opinions on. But unlike other channels, we're trying our best to try to conduct some type of like decorum amongst ourselves, so that we don't start fighting amongst each other. It's just a better environment for all of us because we're all Reds. We all want to support each other. We all want to support this team. We all want the same for this team. That's silver, glory, and the likes. So if you're down, join us 7:00 later on today. 7:00. That's GMT time, right? I got that one right. It's GMT,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you then, I guess.
Well, BST.
You guys want to say something before we bounce?
Big up,
Yeah, I'd just like to
Patrick.
say, go on, JK.
No, I was going to say big up Patrick Soon. He just came in there, and there's Bernadette's put Irishman's link in the chat as well. And nice one to the chat. Catch you guys later.
Yeah. Big up. Thank you, Bernie. As always, true blessing to have you a part of the show. Also, big up to Hash as well. Big up. 7:00. KJ, what'd you want to say?
I just wanted to say, all in all, everything's good, man. Everything's good for us. We don't got no serious concerns, any serious worries. So let's just be happy. Let's see how things go. Obviously, we want more, and that's fine. But everything's good, man. Let's enjoy the ride. Success is the journey, not just the destination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Definitely big up. Yeah. So I'm not going to sing, Bernie, but to everyone, do your best Bobby McFerrin, do your best Bobby McFerrin, and definitely enjoy your afternoons, and we'll see you this evening. But until then, if you got JK, KJ, definitely stick around for a few minutes if you can. But other than that, we will see you on the flip at 7:00, people. Big up, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.
Take care, guys.
And also, always remember, up the Reds, people. Up the Reds, always. Take care.